Welcome, everybody, to another episode of our COVID Crisis Comeback Challenge Sunday Alumni Mastermind Meeting. Say that 10 times fast. We have a really powerful topic to discuss and really looking forward to some input by you and diving deep into this topic tonight. It is a powerful topic. It is a thought-provoking topic. It is a life-altering topic. And so let's get into it right now. And here it is. So tonight we are going to talk about evolving from believing to be living from your highest virtues, values, and consciousness. Okay. Raise your hands if you see a difference between believing and be living. Yes or yes? Okay. Well, let's dive in a little bit, focus a little bit more on this and see where we're coming from. So let's start with beliefs. Because beliefs can unite us, but they also can separate us. And so that's what we want to take a really close look at tonight. So what are beliefs? Dictionary definitions state beliefs are an acceptance that a statement or something exists, or a statement is true, but it's based on faith, it's based on trust in someone or something outside of you. Okay, so it's not necessarily based on experience, it's not necessarily based on things that produce the highest level of living our best version of ourselves, okay? And also beliefs can separate us. Beliefs can manipulate and control us. They can take away our freedom. They can promote power over love. And if not checked, and if not looked at with great open eyes and discernment, beliefs can stifle the development of true wisdom. There is a big difference between beliefs, knowledge, and wisdom. Okay? Everyone agree? Okay. So, what are the sources of beliefs? Okay, this goes back to when we were in our mother's womb. It goes back to when we were children, right? Religion, okay, organized religion, our educational system, okay, our families, our cultures, our company cultures, our tribal nature, very tribal nature, right, is to gather together under the same beliefs or to separate ourselves from others who are not like us or who we perceive are not like us, and therefore there's separation. So our tribal nature, our primitive tribal nature, creates beliefs that separate. Our governments create beliefs that can separate and control us. Political parties can polarize us based on beliefs that can separate us. Nationalism, national pride, civic pride, right? Regional pride, being a fan of a certain team can even create separation, right? And of course, we are constantly bombarded and we are subconsciously adopting all kinds of beliefs from media, social media, advertising, thought leaders, heroes, right? People we respect. We are, because of our emotional connection, assuming that what they believe and what they are telling us is true, and it is valuable. And that's how we get into so much trouble, and it creates so much division amongst us, and it limits our ability to grow and attain more wisdom, more love, more freedom. Okay. So be very, very aware of this difference between beliefs and our values, our virtues, and a higher state of consciousness. Right? Our values and our virtues unite us. They unite us. They help us live in harmony. They help foster personal freedom. They come from our deepest universal principles and standards of behavior that come from our deepest core, not from what somebody else has told us is true. They come from our deepest core, our highest states of consciousness, our deepest universal principles. And virtues are behaviors that show our highest moral and spiritual character. And that enables us to develop the potential of that character within us and within our lives. And we all know so many of these virtues, right? Love, compassion, honesty, generosity, forgiveness, loyalty, fairness, contentment, detachment, humility, wisdom, love, freedom. Okay. These are not things that people or groups have told us are true. These are the things in our life's experiences that we experience are true, and that we experience that they help us connect to the very deepest part of the highest part of our nature and our consciousness. And individuals who live their lives based deeply and solely on these values and virtues and on these high states of consciousness live their values, they live their virtues, and they express it in everything they think, feel, say, and do, because it's coming from the very highest part of them. Does that make sense? Would anybody argue with that? No? Okay. So, where do these values and virtues come from? Well, they come from direct connection with the highest states of consciousness, right? They come from our spiritual unfoldment. They come from our experiences in this life and over lifetimes, or otherwise known as sometimes learn as you burn, right? Sometimes we earn these lessons with tremendous effort and the tremendous consequences of not living in harmony with the highest values and virtues. Okay? Because we gain them not from books, not from lectures, not from rituals, not from ceremonies, not from books. We gain them through experiencing the very highest states of wisdom, love, and freedom that come from developing and connecting with higher states of consciousness and spiritually unfolding and evolving. As we unfold and we evolve, we manifest a greater level of these values and virtues. It's a natural part of polarizing ourselves with the highest states of consciousness and the highest levels of spiritual energy. So, how do we be living from our values and virtues and the freedom they bring and not become a victim of the separation and sometimes control of beliefs? Let's talk about that. Anybody like to share ideas on how do we live from our values and virtues and not rely on or be manipulated by beliefs? Let's chime right in there, and then we're going to go into our small groups to really dig deep. Stan, did you want to say something? You're going to need to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. As much as time I spent on Zoom, I still get tripped up by that simple one. Okay, talking about reinforcing your values. We're all familiar with the value of repetition. If you want to build a muscle, you do reps, and we want to build a spiritual muscle, so we do reps. And what we choose to repeat is our choice, of course, but in my case, it's a form of spiritual exercise. Sing Q is a popular one. And when I first got involved in the spiritual life, this kind of got drilled into me. Do a spiritual exercise every day, 20 minutes. And it kind of annoyed me because I guess I rebel against that kind of discipline. And eventually I came around and tried it. And the surprising thing is that it worked. And not only that, but there was a kind of you built up momentum. The more regular you were, the better they worked. And it was a transformational experience.
Great. Great contribution. Thank you, Stan.
Thank you.
Who else? If you can, raise your little robo hand, because I have to scroll through a lot of people to see who is waving at me. So if you know how to raise your little yellow robo hand in your reaction, if you press your little reaction button on the bottom, you can raise your little robo hand. Who else would like to share a little bit about developing values and virtues versus beliefs? Marvin.
Well, I find it takes discipline. I have to have a lot of discipline to to not get sucked into to the people around me who have controlling natures, and to not just react to them, to just stick with what I know is true and not necessarily require arguing with people about things. Uh, Belief systems for a lot of people are not really things that I want to negotiate with them. I prefer just to accept that they believe something, and that's great, and they don't have to believe what I believe. That's not necessary. I don't get validated by how many people agree with me about certain
Yep.
things. So I need to be disciplined about that.
Yeah, and striving to find what unites us, right? having the discipline to strive to find the things that unite us, take us out of the realm of beliefs and into the realm of connectivity and universal consciousness, values, virtues, that sense of connection with each other rather than what is separating us. It's what is uniting us that we want to be focused on. So thank you, Marvin. Okay, Robin.
I agree. I think the concept of repetition and discipline is really important. And what I use are 3 questions. What do I believe? Why do I believe it? And what am I going to do about it? So I'm challenging, is the source of something, a thought that I have or a belief, is it coming from personal experience? Or is it something that's mothers, fathers, teachers, preachers kind of thing? And then if that's what I believe, and I know this to be true, then what am I going to do about it if it's something that needs to take action? But it's the discipline of asking that, each and every time.
Yeah, that discipline of really examining our thoughts, our words, our emotions, and our actions to see where they are coming from, right? And what are the potential results? And we can use simple lenses, right? We all know, is it true, is it necessary, is it kind, right? Does it result in greater wisdom, love, and freedom for everyone involved? Okay, those are good lenses. Is it based on experience, or is it based on something I've been told? Something outside of me, right? Or something I feel because of something outside of me, right? Really important to, as we are growing in our spiritual maturity, as we're growing in our ability to expand our abilities to manifest our goals. Before we manifest our goals, we have to take deep, honest examination of all the things related to them. Not just what is it that I want, right? Why do I want it? And who do I become, or what do I reflect when I attain that, right? And that is an aspect of examining consciousness, values, and virtues, and not beliefs, right? So this is really, really important. And this is why I'm spending a whole night on this topic. And we'll be spending more time on this because it is a topic worthy of tremendous examination. Because we want to continue to be cause in our lives. We want to continue to develop connectivity, because connectivity is one of the foundations of our 3 C's, right? Right? Concentration, creativity, and collaboration is based on connectivity, right? Beliefs have limited us that we are a something. We are a member of something. We are a student of something. We are a resident of somewhere, right? We are part of a culture. We are a race, a creed, a color, a sexual orientation, a occupation, a socioeconomic level, a owner of a certain type of car, a possession, right? All of these things we have been conditioned to believe they determine our character and our worth and our value. And they separate us, those who have these things and those that don't, those who are given preferential treatment because of separation, segregation, right? We want to move from segregation to congregation, to unification, right? And not just in the clothes we wear, not just in the place we live, not just under the flag we fly. We have to understand that we must move beyond the tribal nature of us and them. We must understand we are not just part of a town, a city, a state or province, a country, a continent, a planet. We are unlimited, right? Transstellar, transdimensional beings, right? Transstellar, transdimensional, transplanal, universal, unlimited, and eternal beings. But we must cultivate the knowledge, the application, and the experience of that for it to be something that we be and not just believe or not just speak about. So in our small group discussion, I'm going to have you guys get together and talk about how do we attain this unification. So let me just take a couple of more. Bridget, you were very patient. If you want to unmute and share what you want to share, then Mark, and then we're going to jump into our small groups.
Thank you.
And could you speak up, Bridget? Because
yeah, I'm not feeling very well, so I just, that's why I'm off camera.
okay.
For me, what I do, I go to the still place within, and that's where my belief system is, and that's where I get my strength from. And so regardless of who agrees or disagrees with me, I allow them to have their own, I allow them to be. I grant them their own beingness and their belief. I look for, because in the work that I do, I work with a lot of different people from different religions.
You still there, Bridget?
Yeah, I am here.
Yeah, you broke off and we missed when you said you work with people of different, it sounded like religion, and then you broke.
Different belief systems. Yeah, it's telling me here that my internet is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So what I do, I look for I focus on the work we're doing, how we're going to get from point A to point B. And when those arguments come, I just either I don't participate or I get myself busy doing something else, because I like people to have their own beingness and their own belief systems, and I don't want to have to defend mine. If they ask me specific questions, I would answer. But for me, my still place within is my strength.
Well, wonderful. And you brought up some really important points. Number one, people are going to have their very different beliefs because of their backgrounds, education, families, culture, everything that we just talked about at the beginning of this. We're not going to get around that. Everyone has and carries those things with us. And we will get nowhere arguing. We will get nowhere trying to show them how we're right and they're wrong. There is not any value to that. Like you said, going within to our highest place and being a vehicle for wisdom, love, and freedom is the best thing that we can do. And listen and try to provide tools and opportunities for them to attain connectiveness, right? And attain harmony and productivity and unfoldment. That's the best we can do. But my topic tonight is not about other people, and this is about us. This is about, really sharpening our awareness before we think, say, feel, and do something, to really be clear, to be a very, very, very conscious participant in the decision of what we choose to do and be and achieve, making sure we're awake and aware of where the impulse is coming from, right? And not have that be manipulated by all those things we talked about that are associated with beliefs. We know, and this is a tool in coaching and in counseling. You know, when I take somebody through the process of, and it's always the same process, it's what is it that you want right now, right? Then why do you want that? Okay. How do you go about getting that? Right? When do you think you're going to be able to achieve that? What's it going to take to do that? But then most important is, who are you going to become? What will it reflect from the highest part of you? And what that is saying is, what values would you be expressing and trying to feed and trying to manifest through the attainment of this goal? Because this will help us look at and determine, is it really worth me investing my time, energy, assets in this particular goal? Is the impetus, is the motivation coming from the very highest, with the very highest opportunities for more wisdom, love, and freedom in our lives and in others, right? Those values, those virtues, or is it coming from something that separates us or moves us into the realm of power and control versus love and granting freedom? It's really important we examine what are the motivations for us doing these things. So that's what I'm talking about tonight. Let's see, was there anyone else? Mark, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. I think this is such an interesting topic. You know, I wonder if you would agree, like, do you feel that beliefs are just opinions, or is that a little bit different?
You know,
or beliefs inform opinions, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think they're very much connected, because
Right.
when you have an opinion, a strong opinion, it's based upon a belief,
Mm-hmm.
and it may not be a result of coming from a high state of consciousness and coming from actual experience that brings wisdom, love, and freedom, right?
Beautiful.
There are beliefs. I mean, right now we're in this turmoil right now of people who have allowed themselves to be manipulated and separated by beliefs, right? And you can see where the power is being used to separate us from each other, divide us, create disharmony, right? And there's the use of all kinds of manipulation. And let's be honest, that manipulation is used by everything and everyone who wants to exert some influence, right? We have seen thousands of years of religion using faith and belief to control people, to create the most horrendous crimes against humanity, and the most subtle manipulation and control of people, right? We've seen that over and over and over because it's based on internalizing something someone else told us is true. And it becomes part of our culture, and it becomes part of our mythology and our theology and our history, right? And suddenly, as far as we're concerned, it's true, right? Well, I used to have this argument with my mom, because my mom would say, "You need to do this." And I'd say, why do I need to do that? Well, because they said it's really important. And I'd say, who are they? Well, they said, at one point I wanted to name I wanted to name my first kid they, because then he would be the most quoted person in the universe, right? They said, But do you see how easy it is to suddenly adopt something as truth because we've heard it enough? We believe it because either we trust the people who told us to believe it, or we were raised to believe it, or we're afraid not to believe it. What about that? Right? So that's where there is an inherent weakness in the development of our way of living and our goals and our objectives and our unfoldment simply based on belief, right? Versus what you've been talking about earlier, and that is having the discipline to develop our state of consciousness, to connect with inner truth and upliftment that takes us into the natural living and expression of spiritual truth and values and virtues, which are universal, they are uniting, they are liberating, they are uplifting, and they do not separate, they do not control us or allow us to control others, right? See, that's the difference. That's the difference. So having that discipline, having that clarity and focus and concentration, right? And spending the time doing the work to prove truth for yourself, to prove wisdom, to prove the experiences that cause you, as we grow in states of consciousness, as higher and higher energies flow through us, they guide us to living a value and virtue-based life naturally. It's like I had a friend who knew a lot about wine, and he was telling me he would go to this part of the world, and if the grapes were being grown by certain kinds of flowers and plants, the grapes would take on some of the flavor of those flowers and plants. And therefore, the wine would be flavored by what it was close to, right? And so the soil, right? The minerals and the essences of these plants and fruits and things go into the soil and they come into the roots. And then when the water comes in, the water drives that into the plants and they take on that essence. And isn't that the same? When we work daily and diligently to raise our state of consciousness and to associate with people and with beings of the highest nature of consciousness, we naturally ascend to connecting with these high states of consciousness, values, and virtues, and they express themselves through us rather than us expressing a belief and hoping it's true and hoping it results in something that's positive and hoping it doesn't hurt someone else. But in most cases, when we live a life based on beliefs and not knowingness and beingness, in order for us to win, somebody has to lose, right? We are seeing this right now playing out in the world. In this world of warfare, this world of greed, this world of power, this world of ego, we're seeing this ridiculously immature, spiritually immature idea that for something to be successful and great, it has to crush and dominate and enslave something or someone else, and even create lies about it that, what's truth, right? What's a belief? A belief could be a lie that if enough people adopt it, it becomes a truth, an accepted truth. For centuries, it was a belief the world was flat, and enough people accepted that belief, and it became a truth until higher states of consciousness and experience proved it wrong, right? So we want to be the captains of our consciousness, right? We want to be the captains of our ship of life. And we want the winds of the highest states of consciousness and the highest states of values and virtues to be that spiritual wind that guides our ships and blows into our sails. Relying on belief alone will not get us to where we want to be, and more importantly, to who we want to be, right? And that's a question we have to ask ourselves every moment and every decision. Is making this decision, is it based on my values, my virtues, and who I really want to become versus something I want or something I believe is the right thing, right? That's a question we're going to have to ask ourselves and be honest and truthful and have our eyes wide open. So I'm just going to call out a name, and you're going to tell me in one sentence what was the most important thing you received from either our discussion or your breakout room. You have a choice. So, Irina.
Thank you, Mike. Great insight. It puts everything in perspective for me.
Cool. Okay. And in particular, what one thing are you taking back with you?
To believe.
To be live?
To believe. Yeah.
Be live instead of believe. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Randy.
To take the wisdom and the truth and the love and the acceptance that I'm finding on a daily basis by how I interact with that divine presence that is with me constantly, be able to take that into my community and to allow that to be what it is that ultimately I am there to show them.
Beautiful. Thank you, Randy. Bridget.
Coming from a place of love, to know that I am not attached to any decision, just focusing on the good of the whole.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bridget. Marvin.
Ask myself, how is this helping the person I want to become?
Nice.
That's a good one.
Nice. That is a good one.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you. Carol Farquhar.
Remembering to tap into your personal values and virtues.
Powerful stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, powerful stuff. Thank you. Carol T. We're going to do the carols. There's 3 carols in a row here.
A rock group, a rock star.
Yeah.
My go-to would be to use as a tool the 5 virtues.
Nice.
If I reach for that, it's a tool I could use and for this kind of thing. Yeah.
Can't beat those. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Carol and Stone.
The change will come through commitment and courage and doing the work.
Nice. Yeah. And have you proved that to be truth for yourself versus just a belief?
Well, it was mirrored to me in the breakout room.
Sweet.
I saw it in the others. So I guess I'll accept it as well.
Okay. And we are a reflection of each other. So awesome. Great point. Thank you. Okay. Jocelyn.
For me, I guess it's the discipline, not getting caught into and distracted by illusion, away from my core mission, and remember why I'm there in the present moment. And so keeping my attention at the highest level and not be polarized in any way, shape, or form, so that I'm being derailed from the reason that life wants me to be there that day. And also repeating in difficult situation, what would love do in this moment? What would the inner guide do facing this situation? And go by that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And, we all have in our toolbox all kinds of tools. Stan talked about it. You're talking about. We have in our toolbox all kinds of tools that can help us reconnect with that highest place and that truest part of ourselves that expresses those values and virtues naturally. We can go to that place and be that person and then live from being that person. Very different from living from a belief or being the effect of other people's beliefs. Right? That's true freedom. So thank you. Very powerful stuff. Okay. Joe.
To come from that already achieved higher self, that I am love, wisdom, and freedom, always.
And you are doing that. You are doing that on a regular, everyday basis. You are being that. And it's so beautiful to see. And I'm very grateful to be in the presence of people who are being that. So thank you for being here, being that. Mabesy and the Puppies. That could have been a rock group in the 60s. Mabesy and the Puppies.
It may happen. Don't give up on me.
I never give up.
Our values, how they're developed, and how they play out in our life.
Great. Our values. Yeah. How they develop and how they develop us. Think about that. When we're making a connection with those higher states of consciousness, those states of consciousness are radiating those values, which are the key to attaining them and maintaining them and manifesting them. See, everything is a manifestation of consciousness. And those values and virtues are tools, they are portals to have those values and virtues come alive in our lives. So great stuff. Thank you, Mabes. Mark, where are you?
Yeah.
Hey, there you are.
My group was an absolutely beautiful, filled with beautiful souls. And I felt that they were actually embodying exactly what you're talking about, which is being who you are and coming from that place of love, acceptance, humility. I loved the group I was with. Beautiful. Just listening to them was wonderful.
Well, and we love you, Mark. We love listening to you too. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being that.
Thank you for your love. Love it.
Always. Always there for all of you. Let's see. Nancy, you thought you were going to hide from me. Nancy, where are you?
Here I am.
Here you is.
Yeah, I'm not hiding, I don't think. What I got out of, one of the things I got out of it, and I love my group too, the group I was in, buying into others' negative view of me is my belief. And I can change that by aligning with love and the other values and virtues.
Beautiful. Yeah. I love that alignment. You know, if by now, if you haven't gathered, one of the most powerful and basic principles of my Your 9 Steps program is about alignment, right? So that's a really important facet. Nancy, thank you for bringing that up. It's all about the alignment. Yeah. That's why when you bring your car in for new tires, what do? They tell you, okay, you have new tires, now you need an alignment. Alignment is very important. Okay, Robin. Let's hear from Robin.
Oh, it just disappeared. By staying connected to my values and virtues, I navigate challenges in ways that open me to spiritual growth and align me for the next perfect opportunity.
Once again, yeah, staying connected, alignment, drawing the opportunities to you and having the wisdom and the clarity and the courage to grab those opportunities and try, right? Grab those opportunities and just try, just do it, you know, just do it. Awesome. And you're a living example of that, Robin. Thank you. Marvin. You need to unmute yourself.
I already spoke, but
Okay, time's up. Sorry about that, Marvin. I want to get to Stan. You're right. You were one of the first to share. Stan.
Glow, little glow worm, listen, listen.
That's it. Be the glow and glow with the flow, I always say. Awesome. Well, I kept you a little bit longer than I hoped, but I hope it was useful to you. I hope you receive value from this tonight. I hope you'll think about it. Better yet, I hope you will be it. I hope you see in your beingness everything we talked about, and it will take you to unlimited places within the person that you are and want to become and always were. And it'll also give us some compassion and awareness of where people are coming from and have a deeper understanding of why sometimes people do the things they do that are not always the most productive and most compassionate and most enlightened things. We recognize where the motivation to act is coming from. We want to make sure our motivation to act is coming from where and who we want to be and are in our very highest version of ourselves. So thank you all for being here tonight and being here tonight and being the incredible vehicles for love, wisdom, and freedom that you are. I look forward to seeing you again next time. And have a great night. Have a great week. I love you all. I'm grateful for you all. And I will see you again next time. So take care.